never believed in pushing religion on their kids. It's me and my 3 brothers. My dad was raised Catholic. I would say he identifies as a Christian. And my mom never really had any particular religion. She was kind of just generally spiritual. She didn't really follow anything in particular. Now, I have mixed feelings on whether or not you should be like forceful with religion with your kids. There are pros and cons. So the pros are it's a great and powerful thing to allow your child to pick what is right for them and their beliefs. Now, there are definitely cons, of course. I didn't have the easiest childhood, as I'm pretty sure everyone can relate. So it was difficult to deal with some of life's challenges without any belief system to kind of fall back on. Sometimes I would see very religious friends and family who receive a lot of comfort and guidance and direction from their religion. And I kind of longed for something like that, especially when I was kind of having like an existential crisis in my early 20s. Though I longed for it, I knew it was something that would never really work for me. I could get behind the idea of God and like a creator, higher power, that sort of thing, but the Christian line of belief in certain ways just didn't really resonate with me. A lot of it didn't really make sense to me, so I really couldn't accept it or follow it, even though I really think it's a beautiful religion with many wonderful followers. So I grew up in a family of scientists, which definitely influenced my thinking in terms of being like an atheist. My 3 brothers, mashallah, are insanely brilliant. The one I was closest to growing up was very involved in the sciences, to the point where he's actually an astrophysicist now, which is really cool. He challenged my thinking on things a lot. He was very scientific in his way of thinking, and I got to the point where it felt like I would have to live in delusion to believe that there could be something greater than us that created us, and that there could be something after we die. Now, my biggest influence, I would say, growing up was my best friend Shireen. So Shireen's Muslim, and I can honestly say that without a doubt, if it wasn't for her in my life, I would never have become Muslim. And the thing is, she never really talked about it. She was big on not being preachy, on not being pushy, or giving like unsolicitedly, is that a word? Proselytizing, you know? She's always been big on that. It actually wasn't until like a year or 2 after I met her that I even knew she was Muslim. I wanted an excuse to call her, so I was like, hey, it's Christmas, can I call Shireen? And so I called her to say Merry Christmas, and she said, oh, we actually don't celebrate Christmas. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, okay. And she explained that she was Muslim. I was like, and I didn't really know much about Muslims at that age. I was around 9 years old. Alhamdulillah, she's been my best friend since I was 9, even to this day. What had an astounding effect on me was her character and who she is, and she truly shares so many characteristics of the Prophet. She's non-judgmental, she has extreme integrity, she's unconditionally kind to all people and all animals especially, and she never once treated me differently because I was not Muslim. There's a quote that I love and I think is so true. It's, right now. Non-Muslims don't read the Quran, they read you. And that is so, so, so true. Another example is my other best friend in high school. I'm gonna name him Ali because I don't know if you want me using his name in this, so we'll just call him Ali because that's like one of my favorite names anyways. So he quickly became my best friend. He also never preached Islam. He's also simply one of the best men, best people I've ever met in my entire life. His character is outstanding. Like, blatantly does the right thing even when it's hard. Unshakable ethics and character overall. He had a very, very difficult life and just fared it so beautifully and with such grace. And what I loved most about him, honestly, looking back, was a lot of the characteristics that he had in common with the Prophet, peace be upon him. Notice the trend. I think there might be a reason why we're told to emulate the Prophet, peace be upon him, and strive to be like him. So I guess the next piece in the timeline would be college. So I had a severe existential crisis when I hit 20, to the point where it would literally keep me up at night. The next person who influenced me the most in this period of my life that actually honestly kind of tilted the needle towards Islam from atheism to like generally believing in something was my atheist history professor, weirdly enough, subhanAllah. He was so knowledgeable and so respectful of Islam. He even did a talk on misconceptions of Islam, which I attended. In that talk, he basically took a lot of the controversial surahs from the Quran and explained the meaning and the history and everything behind it. He explained how Islam was actually very forward-thinking when it came to women, and in general how forward-thinking it was, because at that time a lot of people really arguably saw Islam or people, Muslims as backwards people. He had